Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Eid Mubarak. Inshallah everyone has been having a good Eid. And inshallah, what better way to celebrate Eid than try to further understand our human reality and uh, understand the message that has been sent to us by our Creator and try to cultivate that connection and relationship to an eternal source, inshallah. So today, as usual, as we have been doing for many weeks now, we will be continuing from the 25th word. We are in the second ray of the 25th word. So far, we have read third flashes. We are on the fourth flash of the second ray. This 25th word, as I'm sure all of us know at this point, is about the miraculousness of the Quran and how we can better confirm that miraculousness of it. You know, throughout these several months now, we've talked about the eloquence of the Quran, looked at examples of, you know, how this eloquence is exemplified through word order or the meanings or the expression of the verses, over the style, over the wording and whatnot. And the author here has given us many different examples, has cited many different verses, but has also cited them as samples of this larger expression of eloquence, larger expression of comprehensiveness that the Quran offers to us. So this week, again, we'll be continuing from the fourth flash of the second ray. The second ray has been about, just in general, the comprehensive nature of the Quran. The first flash talked about the comprehensiveness of its words. The second flash talked about its comprehensiveness of meaning. The third one was about comprehensiveness in its knowledge, the knowledge it offers. And this fourth flash has been comprehensiveness of the topics it lays out, the subjects it lays out for the reader that look to fundamental questions that I have as a human being. You know, about the reality of my existence, the reality of what duties I owe being given this existence, about the creator of the universe, the understanding of the past and future and resurrection, to just, I think all the sorts of lines of inquiries that look to fundamental needs that I have as a human being. Lines of inquiry that are fundamental to my human reality. And so this fourth flash has been giving us many different examples that indicate this comprehensiveness in terms of the subjects it puts forth to me. So if that wasn't super clear, hopefully the text itself will offer some elaboration. I know we left off on this page here. I think it would be helpful to maybe just read the first paragraph here and then go to the verses that we are at right now instead of reading all of it. And hopefully that will prepare our mindsets. And inshallah, I trust that we will have a fruitful discussion and that all of you will help me understand this as well. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, the fourth flash. This is the extraordinary comprehensiveness of the subjects the Quran, puts forward. Together with bringing together the extensive subjects of man and his duties, the universe and the creator of the universe, the heavens and the earth, this world and the hereafter, the past and the future, and pre-eternity and post-eternity. The Quran explains all the essential and important topics from man's creation, from seminal fluid, till when he enters the grave, from the correct conduct of eating and sleeping, to the matters of divine decree, and determining, from the creation of the world in 6 days to the duties of the wind blowing, indicated by the oaths of, and here he lists many different verses that we read last week. I'm more than happy to dwell on these further if you guys have any questions or comments. If not, we could continue here, where it talks about how all of this shows to, topics ranging again from the world's being open for test and examination to its closing, from the grave, the first dwelling of the hereafter, and then from the intermediate realm, the resurrection, and the bridge to eternal happiness, from the events of the past and the creation of the body of Adam and the dispute of his 2 sons, to the flood and the drowning of the people of Pharaoh, and the major events of most of the prophets, and from the pre-eternal circumstance alluded to by Am I Not Your Sustainer, which is chapter 7, verse 172, to the post-eternal occurrence expressed by some faces that day will beam in brightness, looking towards their sustainer, which are verses 22 and 23 of chapter 75 of Qiyamah. And all of these fundamental important subjects are explained in a way befitting the all-glorious one who administers the whole universe as though it was a palace, and opens and closes this world and the hereafter like 2 rooms, and regulates the earth as if it was a garden, and the heavens as though they were a roof adorned with lamps, and beholds the past and the future as though they were 2 pages, present in his sight like a single night and day, and looks on pre-eternity and post-eternity as though they were yesterday and tomorrow, in a form in which the 2 sides of a chain of events are joined together and touching in present time. I'll just finish the paragraph here, inshallah. Just as a master builder speaks of 2 houses he has constructed and arranged and makes out the program and list and index of the matters involved, so the Quran is fitting for the one who makes the universe and arranges it and writes out and displays the list and index and, if one may say so, the program of the matters concerned with it. There is no sign of any artificiality or false display. And just as there is no trace of imitation or hint of any fraud, like speaking on behalf of someone else or supposing itself to be in someone else's place in speaking, so too, with all its seriousness, all its purity, all its sincerity, the Quran's pure, shining, brilliant exposition declares, I am the word and exposition of the Creator of the world, just as the light of day declares, I came from the sun. So there's a lot that we can hopefully unpack here. And I know this was a quick reading, so I don't want to pass over any part of this text without giving it its due. I guess a few comments that I'll just share at this time is very broad general comments, is that, as maybe we talked about last week, here like Nursi is highlighting all the different areas of concern that this comprehensiveness of the Quran is addressing and treating. And I guess one thing that I had been reflecting on last week that I had also shared is that, to me, this shows that as a human being, if I look to myself, I need guidance in terms of what I am, the nature of my existence, what my purpose and duties are here, about what the nature of this existence is. But also, like, I seek guidance in terms of, okay, what's the best way to live and conduct myself and behave, and I think maybe I gave this example last week again. Like, I might spend lots of time researching the best toothbrush for my teeth. I want and I seek guidance in all matters of my life. And perhaps I spend time seeking guidance in terms of the physicality of my needs, which is needed, right? Maybe health of my teeth or some other bodily part, but also in terms of my human needs, in terms of my need for meaning, for understanding. Um, that need for guidance is comprehensive. You know, I seek it in terms of uh, quote unquote these abstract questions about, you know, what is the source of this existence? Is there a source? If so, what's going to happen? Like why is it that things are transient? Does that transience indicate towards something? Um, Two, also, how can I imbue, how can I inject meaning or find meaning in my daily conduct, in when I go to school, work, in my relationships? How do I cultivate that meaning? How do I forge a relationship to the one who has given me this existence in all manners of my life? Um, you know, there isn't this dichotomy between um, my eating and sleeping to, you know, my questions about the universe and the heavens. No, they look to each other. It's all intertwined. And so I guess when it says here, you know, there's a comprehensiveness of the subjects the Quran puts forward, I have to ask myself, is this really so that I need guidance in such a comprehensive manner? Do I need guidance in all of these, you know, very big important questions, but also conduct of eating and sleeping, to how my next day is going to come into existence? And I see that, at least for myself, yes, I do. I seek that guidance. Maybe some days more consciously than others. And it seems here that that need for guidance has been given. And if that need for guidance, comprehensive guidance has been given, then that comprehensive guidance must also be given to me. A fulfillment of it must also be given to me. Um, and I see that the Quran offers this, and I have to engage with it and confirm it, and try to understand it for myself, inshallah. Um, so those are some general remarks about what I see this fourth flash setting up for us here. Um, Again, as mentioned, Nursi has given examples as these verses that look to this topic. I know we talked a little bit about these, so we can also go talk about these verses here of "Am I not your sustainer?" As well as some days that day will beam in brightness, looking towards their sustainer. Let me pause here before I go into this larger paragraph, and see if there are any comments from anyone. Okay, we have two hands raised, so I'll just go in the order I saw them. Yeah, Brother Yusuf and then Brother Birkan. Once you raise your hand, there are no takebacks, inshallah.
Jazakallah khairan. So today we were having a conversation with a young person. In order to get into that person's world, I needed to use the language that would interest that person, like giving examples for what that person might be going through. Like he recently graduated, he recently started earning money. So rather than talking about like abstract concepts or anything, so talking about things that was relevant to that person, I needed the need for that, and it perfectly makes sense because this way we were able to have a conversation, and also to whatever extent it became a relevant conversation. Otherwise, it would be either I will be just talking and he wouldn't be even hearing me, he wouldn't be listening me. Anyways, but in real life, I'm going through life, like let it be hunger, let it be being wealthy, let it be feeling too hot in summer. So or being overwhelmed when I look at the skies in some suburbs, getting overwhelmed with the stars and the galaxies and everything. This is my life. So with all these different facets of it, and if someone comes and just speaks to me about like using a very abstract philosophical language, trying to just telling me my purpose of life, I guess I don't know how much I'm going to be interested in that. And I mean, given that I am interested in this sort of an abstract explanation, but still it's not too much sustainable and it's not really fulfilling my human needs anyways, like intellectualizing over things. But as I'm living life with all these different facets, I'm interested in receiving, or within that context, I would like to be addressed. Like my problems, I would like them to be solved within themselves. This is why I am interested in uh, the speaker, my guide, my creator, to talk to me within my context. So I am expected to hear examples from the stars or from hunger or from war, like wars are happening still as of a day of an Eid, still somebody is being bombed, for example. So all these are relevant things to my life. So definitely I want to see them in speech of creator. And for example, I hear that a lot people say that you are philosophizing, for instance, during discussions, which I believe they're not wrong. I do that. Uh, Actually, what is being said in here is you are detached from life. Uh, and this should not be the case, right? Because if what somebody is presenting me is claiming to be truth or purpose of life, it shouldn't be detached from life. Likewise, when my creator speaks to me about purpose of my life, it shouldn't be detached from life either. And this is what we are observing in here. Like the topics that are being mentioned in the Quran is talking about my life, my context, me with all what I'm going through. So, and it is being done with a balance, because like talking abstractly is part of my reality as well. But in my presentation as Yusuf, uh, I'm having an issue with overemphasizing one part and ignoring or just not making justice to the other parts of myself. But Quran is doing a perfect justice, speaking about the environment that I live in by giving everyone its due. This is why, as author is, I guess, bringing up the topic in here, saying that with all different aspects, making them a topic of its conversation, Quran is talking about all those different things from the beginning of man, like from the seminal fluid to its death, to the winds, to the rivers and everything. So I say, yes, this is how it must be because I am living in such a world. And the creator of that world should speak to me through all of these. As I was talking to that young man, I was trying to understand his world, the world that he lives in. And I was trying to talk to him through what he's going through. My maker should know me perfectly. And the environment that I live in is his creation. So by giving everything its due, he should talk to me. And this is what we observe in Quran. And this is why it's miraculous, because only doing justice to all these can only be achieved by the maker.
Thank you so much, Brother Yusuf. Brother Birkan, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry. Thank you, everyone, except our moderator, who, in an unaccepted way, made me speak second. But other than that, everything is great, alhamdulillah. So, reading this fourth flash, and it starts with saying that the Quran speaks of different subjects, all the subjects that a human being is interested in, or all the subjects that are relevant to a human being, and her duties, or the way that he lives in this world, the things that he's willing to achieve, the things that she's willing to avoid, and so on. So all these different subjects. And I guess there's one way to read it as taking all these subjects as different things. Like we can say that I have this worldly life, I have my family life, I have my the life that I spend in workplace, and then I have my body, I have my the concerns about the health. I want to know how to eat, I want to know the best way to walk, and so on and so forth. But they're all different things, right? Different parts, if we can say, the different parts of my life, and I'm trying to uh, get them as as best as possible, as good as possible. So I'm trying to to make all these different parts in the best way. We can take it, the one way of reading it. But I guess another way of reading it is also, because we're talking about the same source, same creator, the same source that creates everything, that the same source that uh, manages everything, the same source that arranges everything, decides everything, and so on and so forth. We can also read it as all these different manners are actually about the same thing. They actually converge. Uh, like, instead of trying to find balance between them, uh, right, we say, okay, we should spend some time, in workplace, we should spend some time with our family, but at the same time, we should spend some time, thinking about our health, uh, another portion of time for our religious matters, and so on. We can also take it as all these things actually about the same thing. All these different subjects, it's about me, and all these different subjects is about the same source. So they converge. Instead of assuming them as different things and then put them together to have a diverse, the imagery, we can also say that there's only just one point in the image, that everything comes together. So what I mean with this, so for instance, other day I was talking to not that young person, and she was suggesting me, that I should change my eating habits in this way or that way, and so on. And I didn't take it that much serious, because the person who was talking was not an expert in the subjects that she was talking anyway. Just giving me some, sharing me some ideas that she has for some reasons. But anyway, I didn't take it that much serious, because when it comes to my health, for instance, I want to see a doctor who would know the best about my health. But at the same time, when I see a doctor, I expect some other things from a doctor as well, like just knowing the mechanism of, let's say, the digestive system is not enough for me. So if, for instance, a doctor tells me that, oh, you know what, the fasting is stupid, like why you should stay hungry, it's bad for your health, and so on. So on. I wouldn't take it as serious as well. So just knowing one thing or knowing about something, it's not acceptable. Like it's not enough for me, right? It has to be comprehensive. It has to be about everything that I am, everything that I need. I'm looking for such a guidance. Otherwise, I'm not looking for, the best guidance for my health, and then best guidance for my, the work, the habits, and then best guidance about my religious manners. I need a guidance that has to be as comprehensive as, that would that would show expertise in every matter, in every subject that I am interested in, that are relevant to me. And at the same time, this guidance has to be, again, it has to be in a way that whatever the topic is, whatever the subject is, it should take me to the same point that, that I am created and I have a relationship with my creator. And whatever the matter is, whether it is my health, whether it's my success in work, whether it is about the family, it has to converge on the topic, that on the fact that I am in a relationship with my creator. Otherwise, it wouldn't satisfy me. So again, I think one way, and the way I prefer reading this text, is about how these different, so-called different things, that the things that we call as different things, let's say, like practical things, or the intellectual things, or the abstract things and their material manifestations, and so on. So all these, the diverse, all these separate things, they're actually same. They're actually like sorry, they actually take me to the same point. So instead of trying to see the balance between them, instead of trying to establish balance between them, we should see how they overlap, how they are about the same thing. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Sorry if it doesn't, but probably it's due to the anxiety that I was put in the second place instead of first. So Jazakallah khairan.
It's all about the speed of mouse clicking. You lose, you snooze, or the other way around. Thank you so much, Brother Bitkan. That was very helpful for me. And I have some further comments on both of the comments made so far, but I will give the mic to Brother Abdulaziz first. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak, everyone. One thought I had when I was reading the paragraph in Arabic, I was thinking that every time I read Quran, every time I look and I see a mention of the timing of the day, like Wadduha, Wal Asr, or other things, rocks and trees, nujum, stars, whatever. Everything I read, I usually look at it as a manifestation of the creation of our Creator, and kind of look at it, that almost not only as an evidence, but also at something to reflect on and think about, and an explanation of that object that is sitting right there. But I had this idea that I wonder if there is a little more to that, I'm sure there is, but it's about also some form of union, like a unity. There is some common ground between me and these other things. And when they are pointed out in Quran, it's not to say, oh, we put the stars there, or ad-duha is there, and pay attention to that. But kind of reminded me of when my mom talked about my siblings a lot. I think she does to kind of remind us that we are siblings. Like, although life is separating us apart, like you are siblings. I don't know. I just think that the selfish approach that personally I do a lot when I read Quran, like, what do I have here to gain? Like, I need to pay attention to find something to gain. But maybe there is something that's not just directly for me to gain, but there is something like to point out a brother, like Sama, like the sky, or I don't know, maybe we should call a sky sister. Anyways, there are all these siblings that surround me, and and we have something in common. I don't know. I just thought I should bring this up. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much for all of these beautiful comments. Really, they were just very helpful and very lovely. So I sincerely thank everyone that has shared their thoughts with us, and I welcome others to also share whatever comes to them. Yeah, I think, as Brother Yusuf was saying, I need a sort of guidance that talks about the environment that I'm in, that the Creator talks to me in terms of what I am going through, in terms of the environment that I'm experiencing, and being the creator of the entirety of all existence. Only the Maker can achieve all of this. Only the one that knows me perfectly can provide me perfect guidance. But yeah, I need it not in I need guidance that doesn't isolate me from my environment, but gives it an account of it. And I guess that takes into account all of me, all of which I need, and comes from such an authority where, I don't raise a skeptical eyebrow in terms of the guidance that is being offered and say, well, what credential is being offered here, because the credential is the source of all existence. And so here, I guess this fourth flash is talking about the comprehensiveness of the guidance that is being offered, and only that comprehensive guidance can be offered if the comprehensive nature of my existence and all of my experiences and all of my interactions and feelings and relationships and whatnot are taken into account. Yeah, so thank you again, everyone. All of that was really, really superbly helpful. Maybe we can continue trying to understand this second part of the big paragraph. If others don't have any comments. I mean, I'm not going to personally dwell too much on these verses. I don't have anything specific to say. I guess, for the author here, these are examples of that sort of comprehensive guidance. But if others want to talk about them, please, you all are more than welcome to. I just don't know if I have anything to say. So let's continue here where it says, all of these fundamental, important subjects are explained in a way befitting the all-glorious one who administers the whole universe as though it was a palace. And I guess here we see that the credential is the all-glorious one, the disposer of all affairs, the ultimate, absolute administrator, right? And opens and closes this world and the hereafter like two rooms, and regulates the earth as if it was a garden, and the heavens as though they were a roof adorned with lamps, and beholds the past and the future as though they were 2 pages present in his sight, like a single night and day. And I guess just pausing here, what I take from this is that, all of these things that look to me, the world and the hereafter, the earth and the heavens, the sky, the past and the future, all of these, I don't know what you call them, entities or things that I am very much in a relationship with. For the absolute creator, it's as simple as 2 different pages of a book, right? It's just 2 different rooms, managing 2 different rooms. And it must be, in order for guidance that really engages with my experience, it must be someone who has under their disposal, who is the owner of all of these creations in such a way. So looks on, it must be an all-glorious one who administers and looks on pre-eternity and post-eternity as if they were yesterday and tomorrow, in a form in which the 2 sides of a chain of events are joined together and touching in present time. Just as a master builder speaks of 2 houses he has constructed and arranged, and makes out the program and list and index of the matters involved, so the Quran is fitting for the one who makes the universe and arranges it, and writes out and displays the list and index, and if one may say so, the program of the matters concerned with it. Yeah, I mean, sorry, excuse me, I thought I was going to sneeze. Yeah, I see that this universe is like a house for me, right? And just as the one who has constructed a house may know all the dimensions of it, all the details about it, all of the electrical wiring of it, all of the features it has, every single aspect of it, and accordingly would present me with, let's say, a manual that offers me guidance on how to thrive in the house, how to live in the house. So too am I given such a manual, such a source of guidance from the one who creates and administers this larger house that I call the universe, that I call existence. Brother Muhammad Said, please go ahead.
I was comment was about the first part that I heard from him about this trying to understand the Quran.
Brother Muhammad Said?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can't really hear you too well.
Oh, yeah? How about now?
Now is better.
Okay. Trying my comments is about actually the first part that was studied. And I was late to raise my hand. A friend was saying about this trying to understand the Quran. And I heard that, and it stayed with me really. And I thought that it was related to the comments, some of the comments, maybe completing some of them, or maybe filling some gap in there. That's how I felt. That he said, I'm not trying to understand the Quran. I am trying to understand my life, or myself, or my reality. And in there, when the Quran seems not open, not addressing me, actually means I don't know what my problem is. And that is also help. It is included in the guidance. Maybe my problem, my real problems are covered, and it helps me to uncover them, to take those layers, to lift those layers, so that I can see what my problem is, or what should I seek for. That was the comment I wanted to add for the first section of this, the part that we studied so far.
Thank you, Brother Muhammad Said, for sharing those comments. So as much as I understood from what you were saying, it's that you're right. Like sometimes I also don't know what my problem is and what my issues are. It doesn't mean that they don't exist, but that sometimes they could be covered by a shroud and I can't quite situate or I can't quite put a finger on it. And so the guidance also offers me a sort of guiding hand in terms of helping me understand the root of where my questions look to and what my genuine human problem is. As you said, it helps me to uncover those layers, lift those layers to see what I should be seeking. And then I see that, oh, I had this with me all along. I carried this with me all along. I can confirm that it is with me. I just did not have the vocabulary, or I did not have the sometimes conceptual understanding to put words to it or to understand it as well as I could have. So in this sense, the guidance provided not only provides guidance in terms of answering my questions, but also brings light to what those questions really are for me. And it's not a sort of external inculcation of problems, but rather a way for me to see, yes, this is what is in me. This is something that I would like answered. And in that way, it's really, I really see the mercy and the compassion in that personally, because sometimes, you know, it's hard to completely understand ourselves. We need assistance in that. That's also part of my human reality. The fact that I can't always pinpoint or understand the source of where my questions are looking to. And sometimes, you know, this may come in the form of talking it out with someone or brainstorming, but in this sense, my creator is also providing me aid and help in understanding myself more properly so that I may be able to fulfill those human needs, seek the fulfillment that those human needs look to. So thank you again for that comment. I think it was really, really something I experienced in myself, and that really resonated with me. I appreciate it. Okay. By the way, I don't know if there are any comments in the chat box. I have a strange setup right now where I can't really see the chat box. So if there are chats, just let me know, or someone else can raise attention to them. If anyone else has other comments they'd like to make at this time, please let me know. Okay. So again, we were talking about the reality of the fact that this universe is like a house and trying to understand it through the analogy that was offered here. And here it says, there is no sign of any artificiality or false display. And that's interesting. Like I'm not quite sure how to understand that. It says, and just as there is no trace of imitation or hint of any fraud, I guess like artificiality or fraudness in terms of it's not a fake manual. The manual really is from the builder of the house, from the source of existence. It's not like I can confirm that in my engagement or reading through it. But I appreciate some help in understanding this part of it. Of artificiality is just a interesting word choice. And just as there is no trace of imitation or hint of any fraud, like speaking on behalf of someone else or supposing itself to be in someone else's place, and speaking so too with all its seriousness, all its purity, all its sincerity, I guess this is what it's contrasting with. You know, there is no sign of artificiality in that there is complete sincerity. In the Quran's pure, shining, brilliant exposition declares, I am the word and exposition of the creator of the world, just as the light of day declares, I came from the sun. There's a sort of, I guess, self-evident matter here. Although, I mean, I don't know how self-evident it is in that, I guess that's a sort of degree of understanding that one reaches, because, you know, the light of the day, it's almost this immediate experiential understanding that I attain. But with the Quran, I really do have to study it. I have to read it. I have to think about it. I have to use my human faculties and qualities in order to declare, yes, this is the word and exposition of the creator of the world. I see that we have a hand raised by Abdurrahman. So let me just mute myself, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, salam. Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to continue on with you. I mean, maybe playing somewhat the devil's advocate here about this no sign of any artificiality or false display. I mean, just this statement, it's how can I verify this for myself? You know, just like asking a question to all of you. How can I verify this for myself without taking this word from, let's say, Nursi says? Nursi says, within the Quran, there is no sign of any artificiality or false display. There's no trace of any imitation. There's no hint of fraud. It's saying, you know, he says that we can conclude that the Quran is declaring basically it is the word and exposition of the creator. And this is as clear as light is saying, I came from the sun. You know, it's very clear. For him, it's very clear just from reading the words. And you know, what is the metric by which I measure whether something is artificial or if it's false? You know, I have to see if it's true. I have to test it. I have to read it and try to understand it. And you know, like we've been studying for many weeks now, or maybe months, about the miraculousness of the Quran, and it's not always that simple to understand the miraculousness of it, or to see, you know, the things that Nursi is mentioning about it, or to see, you know, even like the other topics we talked about, you know, we talked about the intermediate realm, the resurrection, we talked about Adam, we talked about the flood, the Pharaoh, and then he listed many other verses. He just kind of listed these verses, and it's like, okay, here, these are so comprehensive. It's so, like, in a way, he's like telling us, oh, it's so simple to understand. These are so comprehensive. Or maybe he's like, you know, he's providing these verses as evidences, but kind of, I feel like we're just reading through them and maybe not even understanding what the evidence is. We're just like, okay, Nursi said it. He must be a smart guy. He wrote it, and it's probably true. But is this something that we need to level up to get there? Do we need to like train and study more to understand that? Like, because when I do read those verses, it seems artificial to me. Like, it does seem artificial to me. I read those verses. He's talking about the comprehensiveness, and I'm like, you know, it's talking about the wind, or it's talking about something else. Or I could open the Quran up right now, and I could read many verses, and again, I won't sit. It's highly unlikely that I'll be like, oh, this is astonishingly miraculous, astonishing and miraculous. You know, there are some verses where even maybe now I could confirm that, but many verses I can't. So it's more like, for me, it's more of a thing of patience, patience to try to understand it, to say that, okay, maybe some verses do have meaning, but usually, you know, I truly can't stand in front of the Quran and say that with absolute conviction, this is coming from the creator of the universe, clear as the sun. You know, there's no artificiality. There's nothing false about it. You know, such a claim, I don't think could be made. I'm not sure if it could be made by any human, to be honest. And at least at an absolute sense. Yeah, I mean, that's just like a question I wanted to raise. I didn't want to just like gloss over that. I think there's like value in trying to think about that more. And yeah, I was just thinking about myself in like, you know, practical example. You know, if we truly believe that the Quran really explained everything in my life so comprehensively and really solved all my problems, then I think we would be hugging it much more tightly. And personally, I don't. It's not like the thing I read every day or something like that, or like that I hug very tightly. It is something that I know is good to do, and I know that there's value in it. But it's difficult. It's very difficult to be able to sometimes pull out that meaning. I could have a question and sit in front of it, and it might be talking about so many different things which I don't understand. It's like a puzzle that to get to the answer, I need to solve a puzzle, which again, coming back to the idea of artificiality, like it kind of makes me question really, is this truly what the word of a creator would be like? Because also Nursi here is saying, the Quran is declaring it is the word of its creator or coming from the creator of the world. And it makes me question, is this truly what the creator of the world would be writing? And what is this truly what his message would be like? This is me again questioning from like that narrow perspective that I of course have, and within those own means, like of course when we zoom out a lot and think in a more comprehensive way, things can change. Your perspective can change. Like you don't just value the Quran based on one verse, but on many verses, let's say, and then it's like, you maybe one verse about La ilaha illallah, that verse you can truly confirm, and that verse, proves that this is like the word of its creator. But like, other verses, it's not that easy, or it doesn't really show you. I mean, I'm just trying to, ask this question. If you have any answers or thoughts about it, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question, Abdurrahman. I think it's a very genuine and human concern I shared as well. And I think it's very much so worth discussing. So there's the question, everyone. I know we have a hand up, Brother Birkan, you can go ahead. But yeah, I think others should also see what they can input into this topic. Inshallah. Brother Birkan, the mic is yours.
Jazakallah khairan. I'm glad Yusuf was not before me this time. So about this artificiality, while Abdurrahman was asking the question, an example came to my mind, an experience that I had. So this is a kind of dangerous example because it may sound as if I'm saying something against vaccines or anything. Please don't take it that way. This is just about a person, not the vaccines. So I was listening to a researcher, an expert from my current university, and the person who making the conversation with this guy, they're asking the question about the safety of vaccines a few months ago, and the guy was so confident that there can't be any possible the bad side effect or bad the unexpected, let's say, a terrible outcome. That he was saying it's 100% safe. It's impossible to have such and such thing and so on. And this confidence that he had was so artificial, like, because that such a confidence, it's not possible. Like, you cannot have such a confidence. It's theoretically not possible. This is a very empirical, the matter. Talking about the vaccines, like, you test it and you will see the results. If you are talking about the long-term, the coincidences, you have to wait and see the long-term coincidences. Like, there is no other way to know about the long-term outcome of anything, right? Anyway, like, this confidence that he had was so artificial. Why? Because he was going beyond his limits. He was taking steps in the in territories that clearly he didn't have any authority. And when it comes to Quran, or when it comes to the creator of the universe, at least my expectation is that he should have authority in every territory. He should have authority in every layer of the humanity, in every layer of the reality. So when he speaks, there cannot be any artificiality, any false display. For instance, with this guy, there was a clear false display of confidence. But when creator of the universe speaks and shows confidence, I know that it's not a false display. It's a true confidence. It's you know, in its true sense, because he has authority in every matter that he speaks. And I guess we can you know, expand this example to other the qualities as well, other than, you know, being confident. So there is no sign of any artificiality and or false display. I guess what I understand from that, when you read Quran and when you see that the Quran is talking about everything, about every matter, in every possible degree, in every possible detail, let's say. And when you see that this word, which is articulated in Quran, is the life itself, that the life that you experience, and you see that the author of this word has authority in your life, in its every aspect. When you see that, you say that, yeah, that there's no artificiality. When he's confident, because he deserves to be confident. When he's, let's say, angry, quote unquote, he deserves to be angry. When he's happy, pleased with my action, he deserves to be pleased. There's no false display of being pleased. We know that we are surrounded by all these false display of the being pleased or being angry. I guess we are very familiar with artificiality in our lives, with people behavior, with our behavior. But when it comes to creator of the universe, there's no such false display. Whatever is being displayed is displayed in its true sense. This is what I understand from this sentence. About the second part of the question, like how am I going to confirm and so on, I guess it will take another maybe 5 minutes for me to speak. So I want to stop here first, give enough time for others, and if there are no others to speak, I can continue. If there is no
Thank you very much, Brother Birkan. I know we had another hand up, but Brother Mohammed Said, you can speak. And then we also have a comment from here. And then if anyone else wants to talk after that, please feel free to raise your hand.
When I heard Abdurrahman's questions, I was given this thought that what is the, because I feel the same, I felt connected, and what is the question is telling me, and it is connected with one of the experience that I was given today, that a person, which is a friend of mine, is kind of, I felt that he is very likely to take the existence as a kind of a, not real. And he was also, he was, or the subject matter was kind of the importance of the speech of our creator, and that's what I was actually interested in. But I realized that the conversation is not really going anywhere. And then the conclusion was, because if the existence is not taken seriously, why one should be interested in anything related to like the meaning of it and what is going to happen? Like he was basically coming up with this that, you know, it can be such like a dream, or it can be not real. I'm not gonna go into the details because I don't understand that at all. But that's a choice, and I realize, which is connected to this question, and also the question, I think it's related to this as well. That if the existence is not real, then, or if it is like open to argument, it's reality. If it is like, if it can be something artificial, let's say, then the Quran or all the other claims that there's meaning and stuff like that, it becomes blurry, right? You know, because the subject matter of this speech is this existence, and it is open to artificiality. It can be an artificial. So then the message which is based on this existence can also will also be kind of artificial. So I think since it is not artificial, in my experience, this is not artificial, and the reality of this existence is such that it absolutely needs a maker in each for each quality of this existence, and nothing can really talk about the purpose of the existence, what is going to happen, what is the, you know, what should a human being, how a human being take this existence. The only one, you know, if it is not artificial, if it is serious, then I think the only option for me to take seriously is the speech of the creator of this reality, of this real existence. And it's, you know, it's obvious that the governance of this existence is not going to be handed to someone else, or there's each moment the reality of this existence is such that this is absolutely needy. We are all absolutely dependent on someone's giving, someone's creating, someone's sustaining. Then my mind becomes like, surely the creator, the source should speak only. That's it. And I think that these go hand in hand. Like without the, you know, without making sure that my problem is real, then the guidance about my problem also becomes, maybe I'm sorry, maybe Birkan was saying this one, I wasn't able to pay attention for some reason here.
Thank you very much, Brother Mohammed Said. I know we have two hands up here, but we also have a comment here if you would like to talk. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Hassan. I'm pleased to attend part of this lecture, and I just wanted to make a comment. I think what Dr. Rahman asked is a very, very important question. But there is no simple answer to that. He asked, what is the evidence indicating that there is no artificiality, everything is, the very crystal clear. And how do we measure that? How do we measure that? How do we measure the artificiality of, the things that mentioned there, or I think as a engineer or scientist, we need to be able to measure something. We need to have metrics first. What are the metrics that we can use to say that this is, the artificial or not? So first of all, we need to develop the metrics. Then secondly, we need to assign scores. So we need to have an algorithm to show that how we can assign scores to these metrics, so that what are the evidences? How do we measure these evidences? The qualities, and what are the metrics? So that is really involved with so-called ilm al-yaqin, ayn al-yaqin, haqq al-yaqin, about the universe, about ourselves. So it depends on what specialties we have. Let me try to be a little bit more specific in this case. For instance, let's look at the verses. When we want to study the verses, we can look into that from various perspectives. From the like balagat, for instance, grammar, of the Arabic language. That is, the person who knows that, who is good, specialized in Arabic language, can look at the verses from that perspective, and then see that if there is really something the artificiality there or not, depending on the experience, depending on the science that he or she has in that the area. So if someone doesn't have the the experience, that knowledge, then we'll not be able to really see that the artificiality or not, that the beauty of that that scores, or the confidence that from the perspective of the balagat. So especially the last juz of Quran, for instance, is more about the balagat, because during that time the being the poet, and the writing poems were very important, and then everyone at that time, at least those people who dealt with the poems, realized that that this is something different. Another perspective could be like Prophet ﷺ was not able to read or write. So how can a person who is illiterate can really come up with these things? Then see the what is mentioned there in the in these verses requires the real knowledge. So I don't want to prolong the discussion, therefore I try to make it very short. The cases where we can see the something really different, something really not the traditional but when we look at what is mentioned in Quran the 1400 years ago, and then now we see the some of those things happening right now, or in science, it is rotate, the earth is, let's say, rotating around the sun, or there are planets, or those type of things that are derived from the meanings of the verses. That was mentioned when everyone thought that the earth is flat. So from that perspective, for instance, that is really not really, something really new. Also, when the verse, there is a, what is the reason why that verse was, revealed, and what is its relationship with the other verses? It is not just the short, the meaning of that verse there in that, the surah, but also its relationships with the others. It, in the word 11 in the Sözler book, the Ustad Said Nursi mentions that, the universe is like, a palace, and then it, the Sultan, comes up with, the Quran with, that was, the made look good, with different type of stones, and they gave it to the, the two different people. One is the one who understands Quran, Arabic language. The other one does not understand Arabic, but understands, the engineering, maybe metallurgy science very well, and then, then tries to make, come up with, the sense out of, that book. And then, if you look at, then the universe is a, a palace, then Quran is, also, then a sort of, the manual, to look into the, to look into this palace, why it exists, where it is coming from, where it is going to end, what is its purpose. So then, if we check, what exists in this universe, in this great palace, and then how this, the Quran, this book, fits, the things that are mentioned there or that are related there. So the way, the things mentioned in Quran, and and how it is, the really relevant to the, the universe, again, its existence, maybe, what will happen, what is the purpose of, the human creature and the other creatures, and all these things are maybe, can be used to show that, these Quranic, these verses have something really, the miraculous, or it is not traditional. It is not something that you can really know that, with what we know, because as the time goes on, we learn more, and we try to, then show that, okay, what happened, what was, the mentioned again 1400 years ago, now it happens to be true. So this is not something that, the human being can be, guessing, at that time. So so what I'm trying to say again, I will just wrap up. This depends on the each human being, the specialty, ilm al-yaqin, in what area we can really look into the Quranic verses and then try to see, how it fits, the overall universe. Then ayn al-yaqin, how much we really experience that. Then haqq al-yaqin, really, not only we see, but really how much in behaviors, or what problems we face, and then how Quran, they really solve our problems. This also has a lot to do with, the hidayah, So again, there is no simple answer, but a simple answer, everyone, will try to, experience, this metrics and this scoring as we move forward. Well, this is the part of the exam also, that we go through every day. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much for joining our discussion today and enriching it with your presence. Since we're low on time, I'm just going to go directly into the other people who wanted to talk. Brother Yusuf, please feel free to unmute your mic. And then I think we also had a hand by Brother Abdulaziz. So if you would still like to make a comment, you can go directly after Brother Yusuf. Thank you.
Jazakallah khairan. So artificiality, how do we know artificiality? It's a good question. I would like to give an example to that. So back in the day, I was doing like masters in a specific topic. It was about those computer animation sort of stuff. And there was a specific library like called OpenGL, if anybody knows about it. So you do programming using this language. And I used to have a friend who was like, who had opinion about everything and anything. So he started talking about that OpenGL, and I was reluctant because he was talking about something that I don't know that much, but I know that he doesn't know about it either. Like he was simply just throwing, like not even guess. He was just talking really. So, but he was very serious, like very serious. There was no trace of imitation in his tone. But in terms of content, since I'm already sort of specializing on that topic, I know more than him. I'm not a professor or an expert on the matter, but still, it doesn't add up. What he's saying is not really adding up. I said that, yeah, you know what? Actually, OpenGL can even make like shish kebab. Then he started laughing because he was asking, can OpenGL do this sort of a question? I said, yeah, it can do everything. It can even do shish kebab for you. This was like artificiality. You see that someone who knows about that topic wouldn't ask such irrelevant questions, or although partially he might sound very serious and as if forming some sentences in which some jargon is being thrown here and there, but it doesn't add up. So you say that who knows that topic would not talk like that. When it comes to Quran, what would be the artificiality in there? So the claim of Quran is it's a speech of God. Artificiality would mean somebody is pretending to be God or speaking on behalf of God, although he is not God. So what is God? All knowledgeable, all powerful. So the creator of heavens and the earth. So this is where the speech should be coming from. But if a person with limited knowledge and limited comprehension pretends to speak as if it's speech of God, it would definitely show, and you will see that it will not add up. From here or there, it will start saying that this guy is a charlatan. This speech is not speech of God because it's not adding up. It's the contradictions will start appearing. And the reason that the author is especially mentioning it over here is Quran, the way he said, all those topics are a comprehensive picture is being drawn right now. There are all different types of topics in the Quran, because if I were to write a text about something, I would just talk about whatever I'm expert at. Because if I start talking about something that I'm not expert at, let's say I'm good at computers, let's just assume. But even when I write some text, I am putting some information about agriculture. If I pretend I am also an expert of agriculture, which I am not, you will clearly see that what I say about agriculture is not adding up. So if I am smart, I wouldn't even touch the topic of agriculture because it's out of my scope. Quran is touching every topic. It's not avoiding topics. So yet all the topics that are put in here are perfectly in harmony, and the harmony is in perfect alignment with the creation, with the existence itself. If it was not speech of God, there would appear a lot of contradictions, a lot of like misalignments. It would not add up. But once I look at the picture that the Quran is drawing, I see that it perfectly is aligned with my humanity. It perfectly is aligned with the creation. It is aligned with the purpose of creation. And it's not really, there is no contradiction. There is no like misinformation or any contradiction with any of those, like my human nature or anything of this sort, which is the indicator that there is no artificiality in there. This is the key to see the artificiality. So it's not like my friend who is pretending to know OpenGL, although he has no knowledge about it. So in applying it to speech of God would be somebody is pretending to be all knowledgeable, although he is not all knowledgeable, and speaking as if he knows everything. So just put yourself into the shoes of such a person. just think that you are pretending to be all knowledgeable and giving up some speech. What would come out of it? Once you step out of your comfort zone, you will start messing it up. Do you observe such a mess in the Quran? No, you don't. So this is what the lack of artificiality is, I think. And this is to, and of course, yes, I need to have a comprehensive perspective, more comprehensive perspective to see this in the Quran. But to the extent that I am true to my nature, I am true to my humanness, I mean, without having like a devilish attitude, by which I mean I want to oppose. If this is not my state, if I'm trying to make sense of it, then I will see that it is adding up. It's not contradicting. So I guess everybody would have a taste of understanding this lack of artificiality. But of course, as I get deeper into the Quran, and deeper starts from just studying it once, cover to cover, in translation at least, which I don't know how much I did it or how many of us are doing, but even starting from there, or even, let's say, studying further interpretations of Quran and so forth, then I would realize what the author is saying in here more and more.
Thank you very much, Brother Yusuf. Before I give the mic to Brother Birkan, I just want to ask if Brother Abdulaziz still wants to make a comment.
No, I actually didn't raise my hand. It must be an artificial thing.
Okay, then inshallah, Brother Birkan, you can go ahead and we can end after.
Jazakallah khairan. So I will try to be quick. What Yusuf said, I guess, is really important, is alignment. And I like to emphasize this part. The question is alignment of what? So I think sometimes we take the Quran, the speech of God, as something extra to our life. Like we have our life, and then the speech of Quran gives something extra on top of what we already experience in life, as a guidance, as a a new method of improving our life. For instance, one example would be, like, there are many guidances around out there, right? Recently, I was talking to someone who was talking to me about a certain guidance where I supposed to, make some kind of meditation and then open my chakra, whatever it means, and connect with some, the spiritual dimensions, all of which, none of which is part of my life that I experience every day. And they come as extra things, right? You practice to a certain amount, like a certain point, and then your chakras are open. You practice certain type of meditation, and then it becomes a method of giving you pleasure. You practice certain type of exercises, and then you connect with some dimensions. Anyway, but like all of which are extra, that needs to be confirmed, that needs to be approved or proved by you, that you have to try them, leave them for a while and then see what are the outcomes, that you have to go this process of approval, the process of the confirmation. But I think when it comes to Quran, the speech of God, the things are slightly, actually, like critically, significantly different. Quran does not talk about things that would improve our lives. Quran talks about life. Like whatever we experience, this is what Quran talks about. So, for instance, when Quran says, Alhamdulillah, right? The Quran talks about this hamd, the idea of hamd that we experience in our life, and says it goes to the real source, the creator. And sometimes we take it in a way that we say, okay, you know what, your mother prepares you food and you feel thankful. And just like this, you have this feeling of thank to your creator. And I think this is a misleading, the example of misleading explanation, because there is no such, just like this. Your feeling of thankfulness to your mother is exactly what Quran is talking about. It's not an example of what you should understand. It's the thing that you should understand. And Quran says these thankfulness that you have, this thankfulness, this exact thankfulness, when you eat food from your mother, this goes to your creator, Allah. So when you take it that way, that Quran is talking about life, Quran is talking about the things that I experience, they are articulation, a different mode of articulation of what I live, what I experience in my practical life. They are the same thing. When you take it that way, the confirmation of whatever you want to call, I'm not sure anymore. The word confirmation is a good choice. Whatever you want to do, that you want to see it's not artificial, you want to see that you can confirm, it's in the moment that you can do it right there. You don't have to go through some extra process. You don't need to invent something new. You don't need to invent a new metric. You already have it as a human being. You already have this idea, feeling of thankfulness. And Quran tells you that there is thankfulness in your life. You know it directly. You say that, yes, I have thankfulness in my life. I am thankful to many things. That's true. You already confirmed it by being thankful. You don't need to go a further step for that part, this alhamd part. And then the second part, again, through your relationship with your mother, through relationship with yourself, your body, you know that this thing cannot go to your mother. It has to go to your creator. And again, you don't have to invent something new there. Just being honest to yourself, just being a clean human, by just cleaning your heart, as Quran says, you know that it's true or not. When Quran says La ilaha illallah, it's not a metaphor. It's not just a fancy way of talking about the false idols in your life. It's about the false idols in your life, because you do have false idol in your life. When you respect your boss, when you are afraid of your parents, when you think your friends have authority on you, and I cannot imagine any of us in this discussion doesn't have any such the feelings. All of us have them. And when Quran says La ilaha, I directly know that, oh, okay, he's talking about my friends now. He's talking about my the relationship with my parents. He's talking about relationship with my the partner, relationship with my the medicine that I take or the food I eat. I know it directly. But when a false ideology comes and try to give you guidance. When I talk about all these spiritual dimensions, all these, I don't know, the things that needs to be opened and so on and so forth, there is no correspondence in your life that you experience at first hand. You have to discover them. You have to invent a measure, and then you have to, to apply it somewhere. You have to try it, and then, decide whether it is right or wrong. You have to go through some arguments. But when Quran talks about, the half sun is put there as a lamp, you don't have to invent anything. You just look out, the up, and ask yourself whether you take it as a lamp or not, whether you enjoy its heat, whether you enjoy its light or not. So again, when we take it that the Quran is speaking about my life, it's not speaking about something that I will add to my life, but it's about my life. And the way you live your life, the things that you experience in your life are your confirmation. And the alignment is with Quran's word and your life. If they align, that's your proof. That's how I understand, at least. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you very much, Brother Birkan, for taking the time to share those thoughts. I think it was very much so worthwhile our time. And thank you for everyone else for being patient. Alhamdulillah, this was really a lovely discussion and a wonderful way to celebrate Eid. Eid Mubarak to everyone, inshallah. We can end here and continue next week. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن